Green Room, episode 50. I'm doing a pre-podcast intro this time because this is special. We got the clapping. It's amazing. We made it this far. 50 episodes. I need some more clapping. Clap for me, people. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was actually
Good start. Good start.
Jesus. Got some granola stuck in my esophagus.
Yeah.
That was my band in high school.
I didn't. Let me hear it again.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. I was actually, I've done this a million times where I'm like, oh, I got a few minutes. I can save some time and do a intro before.
Yeah.
But it's never as good. It's never that good. I feel like the intro after is always better because I don't know. I kind of know what the podcast was about.
Right. Those are good.
And the energy's different. It's like I'll take a minute and come back to it. So
yeah,
yes.
It's not premeditated. But I also noticed you are representing what your hopes are for Sunday. Is that because of voter fatigue? Are you sick of the Chiefs? He's got, ladies and gentlemen, he has a Eagles.
No, this is Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboys hat on. Sorry, yeah.
49er guy.
Eagles are a great baseball team, and that's what I was wondering. Why would you be when it's the Super Mat?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have a great story. I guess we're started. We'll get to the music in a minute. I wanted to actually ask you a few questions. I have a good story about being an idiot about sports. When I first started dating my wife, her dad is a huge baseball fan.
Yeah.
And we go to dinner, and it was like one of the first what is this? Oh, whatever. It says Bray browser Bray Brow.
Did it go away?
Screen sharing permission. You're not sharing.
No,
right?
No.
Doesn't matter. Okay, thanks. Anyways, we went to dinner, and it's one of these like kind of nervous, I'm like, meeting the dad.
Yeah.
And he goes, we're talking about football. And in my head, I know he is a big baseball fan. And he said something, we're talking about sports, it's talking about teams, and he goes, yeah, I think they're playing the Giants this weekend.
Oh, that can be confusing.
And he's talking about football. And I go, Giants? I thought he was messing with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Giants baseball.
Yeah.
And I did one of these like Giants, and I looked at him, and he looked at me like,
what are you doing? Yeah. You're like, dude, it's not the one spelled with a Y. I know that.
A JG. Yeah. Okay, we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I love your notes, by the way. Also, I'll cut this part out, but maybe I'll keep that last story. I was wondering, because we're getting so ahead on these, actually, we can almost go weekly.
I mean,
I'm down for tricky.
I mean, I think we should try for that, and then we always say that, try for that, so we give ourselves a trap door.
Well, you kind of have to.
Yeah, but I think not everybody's going to Costa Rica tomorrow, so I think we should try for every week. That way, we're ahead of the game, and if we can't, it's okay. But for sure, every other week, right?
For sure, every other week.
Because that's what we're releasing, right? Listeners, lately we've been doing bi-weekly, so you can I think everyone can depend on that every other Friday.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get a green room special.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's a good feeling though, because I was like, oh, also listener, we have these big plans while we literally tried to cancel today.
yeah, oh, it's like 3 times. Yeah,
Yeah, but we're here. Um, but then I look at the schedule and I'm like, oh, dude, we could do this week or we could do next week. We could even do the next week and
yeah,
still be on schedule. So,
yeah,
I
yeah. I
mean, we
think we should
basically
try
have
it every week.
episodes. We have episodes for the rest of our life. Okay.
And jokes, for example.
Yeah.
So speaking of traveling too, this is for music now.
Okay.
Uh, you are gonna go on a killer trip leaving tomorrow, which I can't wait to hear about. He's going to
Yes.
Costa Rica, Costa Rica, Costa
Costa
Rica. I need
Rica.
some more coffee with Gwen, and so we're gonna want to hear about that, how that goes, all the details, the travel, the backstage stuff, the show. But
Yeah.
also, you and I will be on a show together
Dude,
in
yes.
early March in Houston, and this is a cool thing we do called rock and roll team building. It's a very like corporate based kind of project that this is a gig that'll be probably 3 days long at least. So they have
Yeah.
these summits where like a big company, once we did United Airlines, that kind of thing, they
That was the
will.
start of this whole thing.
Yeah, that was where the projectile vomiting happened. But you'll see, they might rent out a whole hotel, for example, and then one day we're gonna teach them how to write songs in the moment about their company. The next day we might show them how to sing in 3-part harmony. It's all about the value of music and how it can apply to improving your life and business and stuff. I sound like I'm selling it, but I just want to show you
It's
guys what
great.
weird stuff we're doing. That's
Yeah.
I think people who are interested in the life of a musician might not be aware that we're doing these kind of out of the box weird
Dude,
stuff that we're lucky to do. It's a cool gig.
it's like it's all music centric, I guess you would say, because for me and for you, I mean, for the singers, and if you're running that show,
Yeah.
you're really like out there. But it's I love that gig because it's super creative. Um,
Yeah.
it's you're making up songs, It's like
Yeah.
it really gets to exercise that muscle. It's fun, man. Those are fun gigs, and
Yeah.
it's something totally different. So it's
Right.
like,
And on the real high end ones, because we do ones where it's just two of us sometimes, running the whole event.
yeah,
Smaller ones, maybe people with ones with 200 people or so. But ones like what we're getting ready to do in Houston, I think there's 2,000 or so.
dude. And that's for like you said, it's like someone that's like interested in getting into music. Those are like pretty cush gigs, man. Like
It's great.
we got the good accommodations, and it's basically all your friends. You get to stay at a
Yeah.
nice
Nice
place, and
hotel, and then
yeah,
but you have weird shit like, so what they've sent us, they keep getting details piecemeal out to the band. Here's what we just got. Well, the first day you're gonna fly in and rehearse all day that day. The next day at 8 a.m. they want you to start with a country music only set. Just for just performance, no like teaching. So we're like, okay. So the manager of this project, Nicole White, sends out a message to all the people involved, says, what country songs do you know, so we can put together a set? Because
and so everyone starts
yeah,
chiming in, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's like, and I actually, because I know a
smart.
bunch, but I was like, what? I'm not gonna add or take. I mean, for here's one thing too
I
in
appreciate
music
that.
that I try and do. If I'm not singing,
Yeah,
let the singers choose the
dude, that's
songs.
so cool. How come more people don't do that?
Because I sing
Yeah,
and I know,
you
and
know the
it's
feeling.
like someone
Yeah,
will
but
be
so
like,
does Ben.
true, so true. Well, but Ben, he might sing a few, like so, like with this
There's no
group,
need for that. I mean, I
I
love
know.
them and stuff, but there's like 13 singers already.
Ben, here's
Yeah,
what Ben will do though.
yeah,
He'll take his shot and go, if I holler, you swaller.
yeah. Yeah.
He does that. That's
Yeah.
his
And
move.
he's a very unlikely cowboy. If you see him, you would never know
Didn't he
that.
go to like Yale?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm also a really good 3-point shooter. I mean, he just does
True.
everything. Yeah.
A good tennis. He's my tennis pro too.
Yeah, he's a great, fun dude. But so everybody comes back with generally in this email thread the same 20 songs that we know that are
Low
more
Places,
or less standards.
Boot Scoot Boogie.
Yeah.
Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Like the ones that basically like, come on, we're yes, we're musicians and yes, we like country, but we're not from Tennessee, right?
Yeah, but
I am from Bakersfield, though.
You are, and that's why you suggested the Bakersfield twist. But no, for like that's not even country. But no, so he's suggesting a bunch of obscure songs.
Well, but let's because it was so great. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, this is gold. So everyone's pretty much like, so it's like, hey guys, oh, we got to do these country songs. And some of us are like, oh man, okay, please send a set list, and then others are like, you came to the right place. Here's a bunch of songs. And then it's like, yeah, okay, I also know this. And so then there's a little wait. And then in comes Ben and he's like, howdy, my hayseed hay balers.
Yeah, you're right. His greeting was like, yahoo! You know,
like he rolled off a hay bale.
Yeah. He's like a tip of the hat to all you lassies. You know, he totally went for it.
He's like, I'm surprised I got Wi-Fi out here in the...
Totally. I'm just finishing up my crocodile Dundee dish.
My horse needed water, so we pulled over to this internet cafe.
Oh, dude. And then after he does his country greeting with every little tidbit of country wording you can think of, then he goes in and lists like 35 obscure tunes. That's he's like,
he's like some of my favorites. Some of my favorites are, like, what did I say? Like, some of my favorites are Alfalfa Whiskey Barrel by Tilly Birkenham.
You guys know Dern Tootin'? Dern Tootin', it's by Rex Phillips Riley. Yeah. I mean, the guy's, and he's like, no, well, all right, that might be a little bit obscure. Everybody knows the Cow Pie Shuffle.
Yeah,
I know you know that.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. It felt like we were writing the Letterman's top 10 failed country.
Totally. He's like, well, I do like Largemouth Bass by Hamsack.
Largemouth bass. We do need more songs about fish, specifically the North Sacramento carp. You know, which he always talks about.
The band started out as a North Sacramento carp, but then they changed their name to Hamsack.
Hamsack. I got one with a Latin groove. It's called Carpe Diem.
Dude, I love this, and I was the same. I was literally like kind of dozing off. Watching some BS TV with my wife last night, and then you texted, and then we started kind of chuckling, and I was laughing pretty hard to myself.
Dude, I was laughing, but trying not to bug my wife. Also sitting right next to her, and I was trying to squelch my laugh so hard. I was like,
I know, me too.
He's like, "Are you seizing over there? What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Last night. I was like, I wish we could just do the podcast right now.
It
was really firing. Like,
I
had a lot of.
I know.
So it's so funny though, and we love Ben. I hope he listens. I feel like Ben should listen to this.
I don't think he does though. He's busy starting a new school.
He literally is starting a new school, and he's like, podcasts are actually not the most intellectual.
It's not the most efficient use of my time.
Exactly.
He's a very articulate guy, by the way. So he kind of talks.
And also, like, all this, he'll be like, let's holler and squalor and like this and that. But then he'll go order a drink and he'll order some sort of like a aperitif, like Italian martini.
Yeah. Very specific. But that's how he approaches everything, really.
Yeah.
He's
good tennis player. And actually that we really bonded on the very first rock and roll team building. I think it was maybe the first one. We did this thing in Kansas City, and we saw a tennis court, and Ben's like, "Oh, tennis," and I was like, "Dude, do you play tennis?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they had tennis rackets, and we played tennis in between gigs.
How do you guys match up? Because I know that Keith beats everybody, but how do you guys match up?
Keith, well, he's not going to like me to say this, but I've never lost. So
no, come on, it's true. Yeah, so no wonder you like playing with him.
Yeah,
no. Everyone
really good. It's a good match, and we haven't played in years. Now that he's like in Pleasanton now.
Right, he just moved. Yeah,
he's on the other side of me. Like for me to get over there, it's hard. And I don't know why I'm so like, if someone's like, let's do something, I always am just like, I'll just come to you because I
Yeah.
feel bad about people coming all the way out here.
But how often are you playing tennis?
Well, now I'm not at
Yeah.
all. I'm just like, and
So it's been a couple months.
oh, more, dude, more than that. The closest I get is now my kid. My kid's getting into it, and he plays. He's got a tennis once a week, and
Yeah.
so I
Oh, wow.
go, and then so he goes and does that, and then on his when he's not actually practicing, I'll play with him. But
That's great.
yeah, it's amazing. It's like my dream.
Yeah, but
But
different.
that's not really me playing though.
I know. Yeah.
So dude, but I haven't played. It's been I'm gonna say about a year
Yeah. Yeah.
since I've played.
Right.
But yeah, but these gigs on the rock and roll team building thing, they're so rad. They're so unique.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that it's came back. And we got a big
do you
one,
know
dude.
yet if you have gigs right after it? Because I think we're gonna stay for just to see if I don't get a gig on the
Yeah.
because we have to be out there for about a week, and so
Yeah,
at the end of that, I'm gonna stay and look around, visit
amazing.
Houston.
Yeah, because it's awesome. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? I put turmeric in my coffee, and I think I got like a.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear the accent already too. I think it's affecting you. You're like, this is very good. Yeah. Well, I did that for a reason because it's a little bit of a transition. I do this happy hour gig I might have mentioned to you. Here's another weird gig that's cool. Is I play one Friday a month for 1 hour at this AI company and it's like awesome, but everybody there, and it's just for their happy hour, so they get served a different kind of food. Some vendor will come in and just make this awesome spread every time. It's different food. Last time it was Chinese. They had all these pork buns, cool stuff.
Nice.
And then which I don't feel comfortable eating. Really?
A pork bun?
No, just the whole spread. It's kind of like there for them, and I don't really trip off it. I just get in and get out once in a while.
You got your plastic out, your Tupperware.
Yeah, I like my PB&J, and I'm fine. I'm fine. But usually it's a bunch of engineers, okay, because it's an AI company. They want them. A lot of these wealthy companies don't want their workers to go home, so they want to provide all this cool stuff.
That's
food,
the move.
Yeah. So why don't you just have a good happy hour, have a IPA, and listen to this dude, play
all these juice bars and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is something that is we get to see this a lot because we're in the Bay Area and we play all these.
You're right.
We've played the Facebook.
That's what it started as.
It is, yeah. I think I probably played it when it was the Facebook.
Yeah.
But and so like both of us have been able to go in these places. You see, like, oh my God, like I'm like, dang, I wish I went to Harvard, or whatever. Because these places are so sick on the inside. They do entice people to never leave. It's like they're basically like, we have everything you need.
Yep.
Just work and work and work and drink your juice and your lattes and
there's a king side satin sheeted bed over there, but limit 4 hours. You got to get back to work.
Your salary is $300,000 a year, but you'll never have time to spend it. So just stay here.
Right. And you'll only wear, the same pair of clothes every day.
Yeah.
It's like Einstein, but so, they're kind of not used to seeing any live music, I would imagine. So even just a solo cat playing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a unique thing, and they have pool tables all around as well. It's like a strange setup. So there are a lot of engineers here in the Bay Area that are Indian. So a lot of the guys in there are Indian, and they are not going to recognize these boots are made for trucking by Boots Randolph or whatever,
Yeah.
So they're trying not to gawk because there's no stage or anything. I'm right there. I might as well. I'm kind of part of the happy hour. I'm 5-10 feet away from anybody right there. They're playing pool like the stick is hitting my iPad practically. So they're not trying not to gawk, but they are kind of shy sometimes too. So they're looking from all these corners, and sometimes after a while, it'll be like 20 guys, and like, and they're all mostly guys, and they're
Yeah.
like sneaking a look over. So one guy was he was filming me and trying to do it surreptitiously, like no one's gonna notice. He's sitting on this huge, amazing leather chair, but he was sitting on the arm of it so he could get the angle, and like he's kind of far away, and he's like filming but trying to act like he's looking at his phone. I could tell, he's trying to like
Yeah.
just hold it in front of his face, but I
Yeah.
could
He's
tell
like,
he's
oh
filming.
no, I'm just checking my
Yeah, he's like
email.
what fool. No, so
he's like, can you stand in the light a little bit?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just checking I'm checking my email, but I would like if you stood in the
light. It's more feng shui. So so he's like leaning over to get a better angle, and he leans so far back that he tips over in the chair and backwards into the people playing pool. The IPA he was drinking spills all over himself, all over the nice leather, literally wrecking the chair, dude. Like there's beer all over this soft cow leather chair. And then the other people are like, what the hell? Who are playing pool.
And like, Ramir, you did it again. I'm sorry, that's a generic name. I feel like that's a real name.
Venu, you wrecked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
again.
Yeah. I was about to make a hole in one. With the So, and that's the other thing too, is before they're playing, a lot of them, it will literally, even though they've been working there's so many things to do there. They might have not played pool before. So they're just like, how about this today? So they're standing there and they go, should we play doubles? Like, cause they don't want to do one-on-one. Maybe one guy knows the rules,
Yeah.
So it's so cute. And then, someone else won't answer them and they just start breaking, and they're all one dude will just do is hit it as hard as he can to break.
Yeah.
No care of where anything goes.
Right.
So they scratched and they just didn't know that's a scratch. They're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Like
they're
3 balls went in.
They're hitting all the balls.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I love, not to freaking go
awesome.
on
It's so
not
cool.
to weave this too hard, but
yeah.
Playing pool is such a tell on a person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
how they do it, the whole game.
Yes. Because there's so many it's really simple, but there are a lot of little things.
Yeah.
Like, when I play pool with someone and I watch them rack, and I'll either go, you know what you're doing and you've played pool, or you've never played, you've played pool, but you've never learned actually how to play pool.
Yeah, and there's all the body language, like you said. If they're doing it really slow and gingerly, or like these guys, which by the way, it's so endearing, and I do chat up a lot of these people after shows and stuff. They're so cool, and I learn a ton. But I make fun of myself to them, and everything else. I'm like, you guys are getting pretty sweet at your pool game now, man. What are you gonna do? Act like you're new at it and take everybody's money? No, right. I would never do that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Look at you, and they're like, no,
Nice.
But they're so cool, man, and So the guy who wrecked the chair and everything, you had like 6 staff people who just appeared out of nowhere, picking up the chair, wiping things down, and that dude disappeared down the stairs and around the corner. He's embarrassed. He left. Yeah, he was really embarrassed.
Yeah. So I'm curious, because this is always really interesting when you have someone from another part of the world, and we're all playing music and we're playing pop songs, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is it's always interesting to know what songs people know.
Yes.
So I'm curious if there were any requests of like was it Journey?
Dude, basically, yeah, that is basically like what they said was, how about yacht rock?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, what? Okay. Luckily I know like tons of that. But then I played yacht rock and they didn't recognize any of it.
Right.
What they really mean is Africa.
Yeah, just Africa. Or what's
Hotel
interesting
Cali.
Is a lot of times, because we're in America, we get fed what is a hit in America, right?
Yeah.
sometimes like in like Indonesia or like in India, a hit will be a totally B-sides to us
Really?
song.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like they'll be like play I couldn't even think of something. Like think of a B-sides
Yeah.
Journey song, you know,
Right.
like and
Or
you'd be
just
like,
an album track or
yeah,
something.
an album track, not
Yeah.
B-sides,
They're
yeah.
like,
Like an
wheel in the
album,
sky, wheel in the sky.
something like
I mean,
that,
that's a
yeah.
single, but
Yeah, but
not one
something
of the
that's
ones
like,
you'd hear often.
and it's like you can tell a consensus among the people where they're like, yeah, that's the hit, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Well, they
okay.
also like things that are quintessentially American, which does happen. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
like
for
when
sure.
the times and I'm sure you've seen this more than me, but when I went to Japan, they like country and like real deep hip
Yeah,
hop because
yeah.
something that's very American. So if I play like Johnny Cash, they really like it. And I think even if they don't recognize it, just because it has that
It's the
authentic,
vibe.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you just end up kind of being like Johnny Cash when you do those songs. There's almost no way not to.
Yeah,
You know, it's
exactly.
in that register and
Yeah.
but yeah, so those things that I used to think when I started doing these gigs I was gonna play like Sabrina Carpenter and like, oh, they must be hearing pop that's around. Not really.
No, yeah.
Nah. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting I always like to hear what's hitting, you know,
yeah,
to
it's yacht rock
it's
still.
yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my god. Dude, yeah, that's cool. So was that like Google or something or different?
No,
There's so many.
it's just a company I've never heard of, but it's
Yeah.
funny because I used to work at both Oracle and Sun. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
was on the other side of it too
Oh
years
yeah.
ago where I was a graphic designer for those companies and I would get I was lucky enough to live in that. Dude, they would have like they have their annual summer parties. Oh, that's cool, there's Elton John.
Yeah, just that's who
Play,
we
they
got.
hire that's who they have and
Yeah.
others that would be like the
Right.
headliner but they also have Maroon 5 or something.
Yeah.
So the money was just crazy.
Yeah.
It's come down a little but
Yeah.
still, especially AI is like at the top of its game, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
So it's at the top of its own game by its own
Yeah.
creation.
Creating its own artists.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think the dynamic has shifted. I think we talked a little bit about this like during the holiday season. You know, you can kind of see how uh just companies have changed. A lot of how people are staying home now
Yeah,
and less people
although
in the
that's getting
office.
discouraged recently again.
Yes, yeah. Which is honestly it's good for us.
I
Because
know.
the more team oriented means like more
More
parties, more
corporates, yeah.
human stuff, you know.
Totally.
So last week for me, I did a little gig at a new place. The one that I got sick the week before, and they were nice enough to let me come
Reschedule.
back. And it was a classic because you know, like a new place is always like there's a lot of details you got to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Like so this place I'd never played there, and it's kind of like, well, where do I park? Where do I
Hmm.
load in? You know, because like
Yeah.
the kind of the little bar thing, it's not like they send you the plot or
No, and
anything. It's
nobody's gonna really come out and help you. You have to find the
yeah,
person.
and for me, a lot of the gigs I get are like just random. Either I hit them up like on Instagram because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys are local or
Yeah.
whatever. I like to play local places, just a better deal for me,
Yeah.
less driving and um so a lot of times I don't even know who my point person is.
Right.
You know, it's just kind of like I go here and then I'm like, yeah, I'm playing music tonight and I don't even know the name of the person I was talking to. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that kind of a deal and I get there and it's you know, it's there's kind of like people already in the bar. And so I'm kind of looking around like, oh boy, like am I going to have to make someone move? You know, you ever have
Oh,
that where you're
right.
like I
Yes.
could see the places that are potentials and I'm like, "Uh-oh, everyone's sitting in these spots." And they're kind of looking at you like, "Oh, great." You know, you see the
Yeah, yeah,
guitar.
right. Oh, this is gonna be loud. This is gonna ruin
Yeah.
my
Yeah, oh,
time.
great. He's going to play Alfalfa Whiskey Barrel in my face.
Although I do like Hapsack or whatever they were
Yeah,
called.
yeah. Do you know any ham sack?
Yeah, Hamsack.
So, but I get there and you get like no one's really interested in me, you know,
Yet.
like yet. And they're like, normally you just play outside. And I was like,
It's
okay.
pouring rain. Yeah.
And I go outside and it's just cold, man.
Yeah,
It's
and no
like,
one's out there.
0 people out there.
Yep, classic.
And I see heaters and I'm like, honestly, I'll do whatever you guys want to do. It's my first time, like whatever you think, whatever you normally do.
But
And so they're like, and I was like, as long as I have a heater,
yeah,
and they're like, yeah, okay, I guess outside if you want. And so they're like, okay. And so like I start loading, and finally a guy comes out and he goes, man, do you want to just play inside? He's like, it's cold out here. And
crazy idea you got there. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that'd probably be cool if you're good with that. And I was like, I could play quiet. I could basically just turn off, basically. It's pretty much, when you're playing it, it's just
stand there like George Strait and just hold the guitar.
yeah. And so, anyways, that's what I did.
So that's good. That ended better, or it's going better than I thought it would.
And the gig was great. Honestly,
nice.
It was it was one of these where it's just like, I played and everybody's pumped. I was dead sober.
Yeah.
Still, even though I did send you a text, I did have
I thought you were going all in because of that text.
No, that
in my mind, you're like now back and everything.
No, that was the next night. But no, this one was the night before on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I gotta say, even though it's not dry January anymore, when I don't drink, my energy level, and I'm like, I could just play all night. Like I just play.
And do you notice? Here's a big thing I noticed. This has to do with what you're saying. Is dude, I don't know if it comes through in your singing and your playing, but for sure, my singing, your voice is like 15% better at least. Like the range, control, everything. There's a you can notice, man. Not like a week sober, but once you get a month, 6 weeks, like
yeah. It turns out not being inebriated when you play is maybe better.
I don't want to be like a total dwab about it. I mean, there's stuff that I will do that if I'm buzzed that I wouldn't do that could be really hilarious, or like a chance I might take that might work.
Sure.
I just want to say both sides, so I'm not just like, no, it's not very good for you. I mean, there's a reason we always have done it.
That Instagram reel that I sent you where you're, you know what? I'm just a better person. My skin is glowing.
Yeah, exactly. And how did that one end? I forgot. You sent me that reel.
It ended with him.
It didn't have a twist.
He's just like, I guess I just don't. I can be happy without alcohol. And he does all these things, and then it's February 1st, and he's at the guy's door with all these bottles of booze.
Oh, that's right. He's like, sorry.
And he's like, sorry.
Yeah. Which is what you said when you texted me.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, but here's the deal. The dry January did hit me in a good way because I did drink 2 beers at that gig.
On January 31st.
On January 31st, yes.
You're like, this is one of them 31-day months.
Yeah, but actually I started on the 30th. So,
okay.
There's a little gray
But I
area.
know how you don't want to be utterly strict with yourself on that shit. So that
but I went the whole 31 days if you count that.
True.
But dude, I was like turned on those 2 beers. I was like, ooh. And then the next night, Amy, it was February 1st, and she's like, well, I want a little wine.
Yeah.
And so I had 2 glasses and I was perfect. I was like, I'm good.
And was she faded because it was her first in a while?
Yeah, she was.
Nice.
But then she's like, maybe like one more. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So we ended up having like 4 glasses of wine.
Yes, sir.
And then I was just hurting the next day. And I haven't drank since then.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. My habits are already better to where I'm just like, okay, like.
But it's so easy to slowly, I mean, it's easy for me to slowly erode back, That's always how it goes.
Yeah.
Like we're playing at Bimbo's tomorrow. And my brain goes like this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hooked up. And also, since we're just opening, which tomorrow is going to be February 7th. So we're opening for the Mighty Super Diamond. They've contractually required me to always describe them as the Mighty Super Diamond.
Mighty. I
It's
like
a
that.
band called Super Diamond. They're a Neil Diamond tribute. Everybody listening knows it. What am I talking
Yeah.
about? But
I mean, they were
it's fun.
really famous. Like they
Dog.
had a
They've been on Letterman.
Letterman. Yeah.
And they play in front of like 60-piece orchestras, and they're great, and they're just kind of old pros, and that's a big
Yep.
compliment. But we're gonna open for them with the Duran Duran tribute, New Moon on Monday. The point is, you play a 45-minute set, and then you can hang
Yeah.
the whole rest of the night. Go out, talk to the crowd, mill about, and basically you're just hooked up. I mean,
Yep.
it's a party with no worries. You've got your job behind you. And for me, in all the places in the world I've visited, Bimbo's might be my favorite of all time anywhere. It's
Yeah.
so it's got a magic to it.
The
It's the old school
vibe,
Italian thing, which I
history.
love. It's got red velvet everywhere. It's just got a old crotchety bartender guy that draws the bands,
Yeah.
and
So
I
good.
always at him up. He's a legend. The two owners are legends. Whoever I could talk to, the house sound engineer is a legend, also crotchety. How you doing, Steve?
I didn't know we had fucking Neil Peart on drums tonight. Jesus.
Right.
I don't have
Oh,
enough channels for this.
yeah. We have 8
Never enough
channels, and
channels.
you, of course, have to use them all. He's just
How come
pissed.
sound guys never have enough channels? Like, I'm pretty sure you have like 3,000 channels.
Yeah, but their board is old. Come on, I'm gonna rank on Bimbos a little bit. That shit is cobwebby. They're
Yeah,
like,
but dude,
yeah, we
that
do
place
have 8
sound.
channels. No, it's dope.
He's got that place so dialed.
Dialed.
There's no. That is the number one.
Yeah.
If you want good sound,
Yeah.
if he's doing sound at Bimbo's,
yeah.
you're gonna sound amazing.
Phenomenal. It
Yeah.
feels like you are on Letterman, frankly.
Yeah.
Everything has got this cushy, compressed, full thing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, so but as an opening band, because I've headlined there many times and opened there many times. The thing is, and this is generally as an opener, traveling musician, anywhere you go, it's a totally different experience, of course. You want to show the right reverence to the headliner, and you may not get a sound check. You may get a line check.
Yeah.
I may not even ever go up on stage because somebody's just going to check that the mic's on.
Yeah.
I might not get to hear my mix or anything. So Ben, back to Ben.
Yes.
Is our bass player for New Moon for this Friday.
He's not scared of having a drink.
No, he's not. But he doesn't wildly overdo it, to my experience. Like,
no.
he would never, he can't hang. I'll put it that way. He's never, yeah. He's never tried to go back for his cloak. All right? Never.
Right. He won't do that. He ain't going to do that.
No. Like, dude, me and you have went all in
oh, God. That's
few
what
times.
I'm looking at Austin, and I'm like, I got to be careful.
And your first problem is it's Houston. You're off to a stellar start. He shows up in Austin. He's like, let's do this.
Already drunk. Yeah. Already forgot my cloak.
Yeah, you're about 6 hours away. That's what I was saying. Oh, for Friday. So, but he's like, is there a backline? Kind of like thinking it's all hooked up. I'm like, no, dude, we're the openers. There's no backline.
You're playing, yeah.
Dude, there's no backline. Please, in fact, don't bring an amp. We're going to go direct. Yeah. You got to get your butt on and off the stage very quick when you're the opener. It was a little bit this way. We were treated great, but when we opened for you with Gwen in Vegas, we needed to really just be at the whim of your show. You know what I mean? So, which was fine. You know that going in, and it's kind of a cool challenge in its own way to just go up and rip.
Yeah.
For your 45 minutes or half hour or whatever it is. So I love the Bimbo's 45, and it's going to be awesome. But back to the point of it is to not have a bevy on that one. It might be a bit of a challenge. We'll see we'll just see. I'm not going to kill myself either way. So,
right.
But like also when you go out to say hi to the crowd, people are handing them to you and you're buying it. And it's also up in the backstage, like
it's just there.
Plentiful.
I know.
Yeah.
And oh man, I gotta say, this is a hard decision if I had to make one.
Yeah.
Seriously, headlining or opening. I love opening,
isn't it?
So much.
It's real breezy and lightning.
There's no pressure.
Yeah.
And you're there to basically hang out, and it's like we have a chance to completely blow people away.
Yeah.
And if we don't, nobody cares.
Right. Because sometimes nobody's there yet when you're playing.
And so it's like no pressure, but then you get to rock or whatever kind of music or whatever. And you're kind of there it's all about support. You're just kind of there to hang out and play music.
Yeah.
Opening is so great.
It's so awesome. It's a great, I'm like giddy.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. And also I do generally in some way you have a relationship or the person you're headlining, the people you're headlining for. And even if you're just meeting them, it's such a cool thing that it's fun to hype them a few times too.
Yeah.
It's just endears you to them and to the audience, and it's
totally.
a great
and
vibe.
It doesn't matter. It just the whole time you're like, all you got to do, even just to change the vibe of the audience, you just go, "Who's ready to see blah blah blah," and then it's like, "Whoa!" And it's like. You
just put goodwill out there. But there's I'm so glad that we're kind of getting into this because it's another subject for musicians. Is there are extreme faux pas as an opener?
Yeah,
and one is going over the time.
Yep.
Okay, not 1 minute, even that. Like, come on, try to. It's cooler, I think, to be like 2 minutes under, but I timed it so it's basically spot on.
Yep.
But I've had bands where and even comics talk about this with taking too much time.
Yeah. Well,
someone just bumps you.
In comedy, that's a thing. They'll purposely come in and be like, "I'm doing 15 tonight."
Yeah,
and we're bumping you.
Yeah, I'm bumping you, and if I say 15, it might be 30.
Yeah,
and you may not even do anything tonight. So
yeah.
But with music though, even if we went, let's say 10 minutes over, that would just be in such bad taste, I think, because you're trying to act like you're the headliner or say it's about me, or just be so sniffing your own farts about it. And so I also enjoy just showing the respect. And another thing I like about opening at Bimbo's is, I mean, this is like, could be a bad move, but I read the room every time. But I'll go into the headliner's room to thank them.
Yeah.
And then I usually end up just kicking it in there.
Yeah.
Because it's like their buds,
That's the hang room.
It's the hang, yeah. And it's always such good vibes, and it's a pretty large enough room where you can kind of kick it.
Yeah.
And
totally.
I'll just go back and forth a little bit with my band in the really small openers room, which is kind of too small for a full band generally. We try to take photos in there a lot of times, and whoever's taking the photo is like scrunched on top of the closet,
Yeah, totally.
While we stuff ourselves into the couch there. But it's a cool place because it has like an ironing board and all these things that a lot of venues don't have, or a steamer, or or a shower, which I needed once. If any green roomers remember.
Oh wow!
From the blackface episode.
Purple face.
All right, guys and gals, and everything in between. But I did have to actually take a shower in the backstage
to get it
in the middle of a show to stop offending 20 white people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that was insane. I'll never forget that.
That's another Bimbo's memory that makes it a great place.
Yeah, and they always have really, really creative snacks. The guys that supply the writer and the snacks back there, they put some thought into what they're getting.
Yeah,
like they go to Trader Joe's and they're like, it's the holidays, so let's try some peppermint pretzels.
Totally. You're right. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, they get creative with it.
So maybe we're gonna see some Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you might see something like that. That's where with our snack, our food extravaganza. That's how I got introduced to like the nice thin cracker. That's a good artisan snack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. And we always know right where the snacks are. Not because they're always in the same place every time, but because that's where Noah is. Or you always have one guy in the band that's like eating all the food.
Yeah, everything.
Before anyone even gets there, generally. Yeah. You know, you walk in, they're like mid-chew, they're like, what's up, dude?
Yeah, there used to be food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more ham now, but... You know.
But I got this new track by Hamsack. So, yeah, the drinking thing, though, one of the biggest pluses is the camaraderie amongst your fans.
Yeah,
or
sure.
Or just the people, right? Where you're like, people do enjoy, I mean, especially if you're playing at like a bar, if you're like, cheers, and everyone's like, yeah, you know, like, totally. But if you're like, sorry, I'm not drinking this month, they're like, you're lame, you know?
Yeah. Then they feel bad.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like, you all should be really watching how much you're drinking tonight.
Yeah, right. Your intake seems excessive. They're like, fuck you, excessive.
Play some in excessive. Oh, man. Dude, so, by the way, I don't work for the CIA, but I know who sent me that fan mail, Bray.
Yeah, we're just trying out our own offerings to see if they work, right?
By
so I sent fan mail to a green room.
He said, I know your breath is bad.
Yeah, I could tell.
I could tell. I honestly, I was like, who is this? Like, because I didn't know. But you could see the last 4 of the number. And so I entered the last 4 in my contacts, and I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Oh, shit. That's a great way to discover it. I'm glad it happened that way.
I reverse engineered. And yeah, Gardena, because when I got this phone number, I lived in Long Beach, I guess.
Oh, I got
So that's Gardena, you know?
Yeah.
If anybody listens to
Did it say San Francisco from mine, or where did it say?
It said San Francisco for you.
Yeah.
So, people, you can, it is on the description of the podcast, wherever you're listening. I think no matter where you listen, if you click on it and just go to the description of each podcast, it says, send us a text, and you just go, bink, and you can say, fuck you, or whatever.
Yeah, or talk more about this. We do take the suggestions, as I hope you hear, you know, from friends and fans alike. You know, hey, talk about this, or asking us a question. We'll always do it.
Yeah. So, switching gears, we're like already almost an hour into this thing, but you had a ton of really good notes for this episode. Do we have time for any of these?
I think we have time for a couple. So what about what number episode is this?
This is 50.
Okay,
bro.
Dude, we got to make a big deal out of that. We should have started with that, but let's just say this is 50, and congratulations to you. And and to me too. But hey, man, doing anything 50 times,
dude,
without it falling apart.
Seriously, like, and if you think about that, think of the time of us talking.
Yeah,
50
at least 50.
At least 50 hours. Yeah. That's pretty insane, dude.
Yeah.
So
that's
cheers to us.
Of work.
Cheers to us. Let's see.
Cheers to us. And speaking of cheers,
thank you. And that's enough.
I had no one.
So check it out. We started this on how it started. It was still pandemic times, right? So like we weren't out playing gigs at all.
And this is why we started it.
It's why we started it, because everyone was a little stir crazy, and I was like, all I was doing was like, you know, like listening to podcasts and like, you know, things that were out. And so I was like, dude, I want to start a podcast. And Bray was I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I had funny stories, and Bray was part of a ton of them.
Yeah.
And so you did the first episode, and I wasn't sure. I was like, is this going to be a partner thing, or am I just going to interview my friends?
Yeah.
You did the first one, and it was so good. And I was like, dude, you got it. Like, I want you to, do you want to do this? And you were kind of like, I don't, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so like, let's think about it. And then I already had planned on doing another one.
Sure.
And I had Clay come on.
Yep.
And Clay was great.
Mm-hmm.
But after doing it, I was like, we got it. It's got to be me and you, dude. Like we could just go.
Yeah.
And and that was the start. It was like, dude, we can just freaking, what is
Well,
the
I
saying
want to
with the
mention
yarn?
another piece that was like during the pandemic, something you did, uh, which kind of also influenced me to say, yeah, for sure, is you FaceTime called me during the pandemic, which only like one other person in the world did or so. It was a I feel like during the pandemic we were to ourselves and doing things and
Yeah,
stuff, but there even though people missed each other, missed having contact, we kind of didn't directly reach out that way to each other as people
yeah,
that much. We would do like a show online, but calling someone is a different way to reach out. That's more, and dude. I mean, I'm not gonna get mushy, but it does choke me up to think
oh,
about. It really does, dude. That was meant so much to me. So thinking of that, I was like, dude, I want to go to that place, whatever that is.
yeah,
And then plus it turns out we're just lucky like that. But as we're always BSing, even on here, it's the same as if we're not recording. It's like
yeah,
no different. And so if anyone enjoys that as much as I do, then it's going fine,
yeah,
or even
I know,
close.
yeah.
So yeah, that I'm glad we talked about the start of it. So was it 2020 or 2021?
It was 2021.
Okay, so a little bit toward the second half of the pandemic,
Second
kind
half,
of.
but still, the mentally, we were definitely in the pandemic.
Oh
Like, it
yeah,
was
we
like,
weren't gigging yet or anything
no,
fully.
and we were coming out of it, but yeah, it really, honestly, I know, we are trying to make this thing bigger and more people, you know get more listenership,
Yeah,
but it was the few people that listened from the beginning
yeah.
that definitely inspired me to go like, oh, this is cool. Like, there were just a few people that reached out to me and were like, dude, that was really fun. And
So
like,
let's shout out some.
well,
Was it
honestly, is
Trey?
one that
Was one.
yeah, all of our close, and then
Trey Sabatelli.
one of my old friends, my old roommate that I've never mentioned on here, John Corn, who's a great sound engineer.
Oh, that's
He
great.
reached out and he's like, dude, like, he's like, it was so cool. It was like I was just hanging out with you,
That's the
like
idea.
we used to do, because I used to live with him
Yeah,
forever, and now he's working with great artists and all
yeah,
this stuff, but we don't hang out. And he was like, that was really cool, man. Like, and that, I was like, wow, that's cool. Like,
yeah,
that I like that, people are getting something out of it,
yeah. And I think you
um
may have heard more feedback than I did. Some of it in the very beginning, not now, but because a lot of people you worked with were listening, like
yeah,
the Tainted Love band, like a couple people in there, so you could
yeah,
laugh about things, or you got more material from that.
yeah,
And so that was really cool too. That kind of helped push it along.
yeah,
But also it's funny because in the beginning, since we didn't really have major goals of any kind with it, we were like doing it every 2 months or something, or who
yeah.
knows what, and busy with other stuff. And that, as another note I sent you in the beginning, was what mistakes have we made along the way?
Oh
And
yeah.
every podcast has to find its way. So, even just technically the shit that was going wrong and lose an entire episode, or like the
Yeah,
sound is all,
dude. Well, yeah.
everything.
We started, and I'm very surprised, and we got lucky that it just kind of worked,
Yeah,
from the beginning. Kind of, we used
kind of.
Zoom, which
Yeah,
everybody was using Zoom,
right.
and it was all warbly and this and that, and I would have to go through and edit. And we used Zoom for freaking 4 years,
Dude, up until only a few months ago.
a couple, yeah, maybe, like, what is it, maybe 10 episodes ago, probably
Yeah,
less than that.
yeah.
um and then, so there was that. What else was just bad? I mean, we still have issues. It's gotten a little
Well,
better,
I'm
but
curious, when did you come up with Yarnar? Like how many
that was
episodes in?
really, I
Early,
think it started it was
maybe
at
like
least
5 or so.
episode, no, like 2,
Oh,
because
wow.
I remember I already had it. Dude, I think it was from the start. I think it
Oh,
was from
wow.
the start. Um,
Wow.
Yeah, because I know I had it by the time Clay, because I remember Clay, I gave
Oh, well
him
then, yeah, it's from the start.
a really good one. Yeah, it was from
Uh-huh.
the start. And I think
Wow. Well, that's great.
because that all started, the Yar and Nar was at the
Because your son.
time, my son, yeah, he would
Yeah.
say Yar and Nar.
And he doesn't
And
anymore.
he does not, he wouldn't even have a clue what I'm talking about.
Oh, right, right. He's
Yeah.
lived 1,000
Um,
lives since.
and I will be honest, I kind of stole the idea from another podcast.
Yeah.
They would use different terminology, but I was
Sure.
like, that's a great idea.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I mean, and they
And
weren't the first.
no, everyone does something like that, but yeah. And then we went through different periods where I was trying different things. Like, well, remember the name that Phil? Do you remember that?
Yeah, totally.
We
That
did
was
it
good.
We did it one time.
Yeah, but that was good.
And
Because you could do it with Motown, and the opening fill is the same on like 50 songs.
but the trick was it was named that Phil was either a drum fill or a
Yeah.
person named Phil.
All right. Oh, that's right. Dude, bring it back.
And I only did one of each, I think. I did one drum fill, and then I did Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
And
Dude, you got to do it again.
And then that was it.
No, we got to do it again. Well, another mistake that I guess you could say we made early on that I never learned from and never changed at all was talking about people and pissing them off. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, or I just pissing people off in general. But to me, a lot of what is funny to me does piss people off, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. I just want to have fun, and I never mean any harm. But and the key to me is I love to if people make fun of me, and nothing is off limits. Period. And and I don't mind at all. So I guess sometimes I take it for granted that maybe other people feel the same way, and they don't always.
Yeah.
So a couple of times I've heard, someone has come back to me and be like, "Bro, really?" Like,
Yeah. I had one time when a good friend, I guess I was see, the problem is we have the power to go one direction and say whatever we want, and someone isn't here to tell their side of the story.
That's true. Yeah.
But I will say, in 99.9% of every one of our stories, we are joking around.
Oh yeah.
And so
that's the whole thing.
So we're not, but there was the one time where I kind of was just detailing a story, and maybe my details painted a picture that weren't the right way. We dealt with that.
Yeah. So, and that's human stuff that happens too. If you're telling a story, you're telling your perspective, but it's good to be reminded that people are listening, and that things we say and do affect other people. So, but like the intention of it is for us to have a fucking good time, and hopefully you too. And so, if somebody gets hurt along the way,
and
sorry about that.
I think honestly we should commemorate all of them as a Mount Rushmore. We should make a T-shirt with our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
I feel like Ben is he might have a place on there now.
Oh yeah, he has a fishing pole in one hand and a bass in the other. Yeah. And Doug's gonna be on there. Doug Carlson. Hub is way up at the top.
Yeah.
My dad.
Trey, actually, he's been sad because he's came up to me and he's like, "You haven't been talking about me much."
Oh, that's totally sounds like Trey. See, now are we painting a bad picture of Trey, or just a picture and make of it what you will? No, we love Trey.
He's like, "Wow, you got to say my name, huh?" And then he's like, "Wow, you're not saying my name." Yeah. Damned if you do.
I know. That's right. Dude, Trey Sabatelli, the amazing magician Sabatelli. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's out just traveling the world right now.
He's doesn't listen anymore.
Yeah, he's moved on.
Yeah.
He's moved on.
I haven't heard my name for 3 episodes. Done.
On to the next one, bro. Yeah.
Well, just the final one thing I want to say is, since it's episode 50, right? Are we doing the giveaway starting with tomorrow's release, right?
Well, right. Well, this doesn't get released until 2 weeks from now.
But we already started talking about it.
So here's the deal. The giveaway, I guess, because let's just be realistic, we're not Smartless and Rogan. We don't have millions of listeners. So this might take a while. It's an open-ended. We'll keep posting.
Okay, there you go. I like that.
And when we get some people to do it, you'll get a coffee cup, So
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, there you go. Better. But isn't that nice that you're hearing us work this out in real time? We have not planned it ahead. But in commemoration of our completing 50 episodes, somewhere between 49 and 100, we're going to
Yeah.
give away a
Yeah.
coffee cup, a mug with
Yeah.
green room picture on it.
And as of now, we have one cup that's mine, so I'll wash it for you, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I'm happy to fund whoever is going to, post about our show and any funny moment you liked, whatever way you want to post and tag us so we know you're out there and we're connected that way. That's mug worthy. We'll see how it goes.
And we're joking. Obviously, a new mug.
Yeah.
A mug with our mug.
Just because it's tan doesn't mean
it would be
mug
great.
With our mug.
Honestly, so many of these stories involve so many of our listeners that it would be great to hear someone talk about one of our stories from their side of it.
Right. Which I've had happen behind the scenes, and I wish someone would. I'll say it more often, but like I did bring it up, but Lolo did correct me on a few things.
Either invalidate or validate the story.
There we go.
That would be great. Like to have someone be like, "That was total bullshit."
Yeah, more likely. Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. R&R. This is where it gets hard.
Yeah.
I'm running low on the R&Rs. That's what we could really use, fans, friends.
Yeah, we need some R&Rs.
We need some more. I have one. This one's back.
Go ahead.
So here it is. Sorry, everyone. This one's gross, but it's real. Doing a number 2 when you get to a gig.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this.
And so, obviously, a lot of times you have one green room, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess the R&R would be like doing it in the green room. That's just obviously a no.
But not everybody follows that.
Everybody
just our last show at the Mystic, someone didn't follow that. And there's only one bathroom, and it's also where
that one's small, dude.
It's small, and it's between 2 rooms, which are both being used. You can't even get to the second room. So you really notice when someone's in there, and they're in there for a longer time than 1 minute. You start going like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
And then you can't really go in there for a while after, generally. So that was a total gnar. Yeah, gnar. I mean, if I have an emergency of some kind, I will literally try to go to like another next door venue or somewhere,
honestly,
bar, or out to the main area.
Let's say Mystic. This has happened. Mystic is a classic one because I know the layout of the Mystic.
Yeah, and Petaluma, by the way,
it's a little bit of a drive, but I also know as I'm getting there, as I'm getting close, there's a Starbucks. Boom, right there. I'll use that Starbucks if I have to do it.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
good,
try.
and that's a good choice. But like I said, it might be an emergency that once in a while happens,
right?
Depending what you ordered.
Yeah, and it might hit you at the wrong time. Another move too, and this is honestly, I think this is a good move. It's you use the public.
That's bathroom. What I'm saying. Go out to the main area.
Go to the main area.
Yeah.
And let them deal with it.
Yeah. No, totally. I love it. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's bring up Trey Sabatelli again. This is an old school R&R that he recommended probably years ago that I kept. And I think it's quite prescient today, but cross-sexing lyrics. So in other words,
so like wasn't that, or like saying like on an AC/DC.
Yeah, she was a fast machine. If a woman sings that or whatever, saying he was, so it's I don't know.
Well, I'll just come right out and say "nar" to the nar.
I'm gonna say nar. Same here.
Because the lyrics are the lyrics. Just sing the song.
Yeah, and also
no one's gonna think twice.
They don't, but even if they do, I think it's fun to do that. Like there's one I'm singing. I can't think of what it is right now, but sometimes I know I'm singing Espresso.
Yeah.
So we thought to me it's more fun and interesting if I sing it than Noel, and we'll just switch different things in that band where you have a male singer and a female singer. I would rather do the unexpected here and there.
Yeah.
And not have it be because of register. Let me make that clear, because
Right.
Understandably, a lot of times if you're going to do a Journey song, you'll have if you don't have James Durbin in your lineup, you may have the great Brett Pels sing it because it's amazing, and a guy can't do it as well in your lineup.
Which is pretty much kind of the
norm, right?
That's the program with most bands, is when you get to AC/DC and you get to Journey, you usually have the female sing that. That's more in that register for as far as notes.
Yeah, right. But so to
realistic.
Keep things interesting, I would like to.
Durbin right now is like, what?
Yeah. Nah, man, that's a full compliment. But or foreigner in his case too. But
yes.
So yeah, just something that's in a register that either of us could do. Sometimes it's fun to mix it up. So espresso, I'm singing that, and I wouldn't dream of changing, all the he's. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And nowadays, less people are probably tripping off that anyway.
They shouldn't
especially
be anyways.
Here but.
And the thing is, honestly, and as a, for songs and songwriters, they not only say he or she because they're talking about that person, it's because the way it sounds as a lyric. A lot of times. As opposed to ha.
Yeah.
It's that stuff matters.
Or him rhymes with rim. You never know.
Yeah, I think just keep it as is, and because it's more jarring where you're like, oh wow, you're getting. It's just that seems like, come on. Yeah. Philly, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool. We did it. Wow, we didn't even do
any.
Fitty, and we didn't even do a song at the beginning. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll throw one in.
But that's what. Okay, you do your thing, whatever you want. But it's okay anyway, because who knows what happens from 50 forward.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that, putting it out there. Yeah,
crazy.
Somebody just took a gasp.
Yeah.
No. Nice.
Let's go largemouth bass fishing now.
All right, sounds good.
Right on, dude. We did
it. All right,
man.
Good job. Talk to you soon.
Adios.